Have you ever wondered why the effects of Blue Dream are so different than Girl Scout cookies? Or have you ever been curious about how they can have different strains that are made to taste and smell just like strawberries or pineapple? Well, if you've ever wondered what makes that diesel so sour or that ape so grape, stay put, because we're going to talk about terpenes. Terpenes are the aromatic essential oils found in most plants that are a major component of cannabis resin. They are what gives plants their familiar scent and what gives plants any kind of aromatherapy benefits. Plants produce these oils for one of three reasons: either to attract pollinators, to repel herbivores, or to attract predators of herbivores. Terpenes are made up of repeating units of isoprene, or C5H8. These units are strung together in chains or built into three-dimensional structures, and how these chains or structures stack or combine together is going to be responsible for the personality of the high. This is what kind of creates the subtleties of the high that is created by the THC. For anyone who's ever been around a growing marijuana crop, you know that the smell is always strongest during the flowering period. That's because the terpenes that are responsible for the odor are produced in the resinous trichomes that are all over the cannabis flower. Now, these terpenes are not essential to the growth of the plant, so during the vegetative stage, they're not going to really be produced much. It's at the end, during the flowering stage, when the plant's main goal is reproduction, that these terpenes really get produced in large numbers. Now, during the day, the light will cause these terpenes to evaporate, so they're always going to be in their highest numbers right after a long dark period. Terpenes can affect the high in a number of different ways. First of all, they can lock to the receptor sites in the brain and affect the chemical output of those receptors. Second, they can affect the permeability of a cell membrane, allowing the regulation of the THC across the cell membrane into the cell. They also have the ability to affect dopamine and serotonin receptors. Different combinations or stacks of these terpenes work synergistically, meaning they work together to cause a greater effect, while other combinations will work antagonistically against each other, causing the dampening of each of their effects. While there are over 100 terpenes that have been discovered in marijuana, I just want to take some time to talk about 9 of the more common ones. Now, you might be wondering if I actually know what these chemical symbols mean. Nope. Googled it. One looks like a fish. While I may not be an expert in the chemical structure of each of these terpenes, I have done a little bit of reading on the effects and characteristics of a few of them. And the first one is myrcene. It's the most common. It's found in the highest number of strains, but it's not found in hemp. It's also found in high quantities in hops and lemongrass. It's also found in overripe mangoes. Its odor can vary from clove-like to earthy or nutty. It can even smell kind of like green veggies. It can have an analgesic effect, or in other words, it can have a pain-relieving effect. It's also anti-inflammatory and antibiotic. Myrcene works synergistically with THC, meaning the effects of the two of them together combined are far stronger than each one of them separate on their own. Another common terpene is limonene. It's going to be the second, third, or fourth most common, depending on which strain it is. It's also found in a lot of citrus fruit rinds and other fruits, and it's going to cause the strain to have a really fruity smell. Medically, it's been found to have antibacterial, antifungal, as well as anti-cancer benefits. And on a microbiology level, one of the ways that it works is that it helps hasten the absorption of terpenes into the cell membrane. And some of the perceived effects are reported to be increased alertness, restlessness, and focused attention. Next is beta-caryophyllene. It's found in black pepper, clove, and cotton. It's got a sweet, woody, dry clove odor. It's kind of got a spiciness to it, like black pepper. It's also got a tendency to bind to the CB2 receptor, the same receptor that is preferred by the cannabidiol I talked about in the last video. And that kind of helps it to reduce inflammation and also has pain relieving effects. As far as the effect perceived by the user, it's going to cause just an overall good feeling and then maybe some giddiness. Next up is pinene. You're going to be familiar with this one if you've been anywhere near a pine tree. It's what is responsible for that trademark pine tree smell that everyone's so familiar with. It's also found in rosemary, sage, and eucalyptus. It can be used as an expectorant or also a topical antiseptic. And it actually has the ability to preserve your memory by inhibiting a chemical that destroys your information transfer molecules in the brain. And it's also a pretty effective bronchodilator, which means it can open up the passageways in the lungs. It's been associated with feelings of increased focus, self-satisfaction, as well as energy. And pinene is also often found in conjunction with the next one, which is terpenol. Terpenol is a minor component of many different plant oils, including lilac, citrus, apple blossom, lime. It's going to have a lot of floral odors such as those. It's used in soap and perfume making as far as the fragrances go. It has been known to reduce motility, which is the capability for movement, which is why some strains of marijuana have a really strong couch lock effect, which means you kind of feel like you can't get up and you can't move above the couch. That is often attributed to terpenol. Oftentimes, some of the effects of the terpenol are mistakenly attributed to the pinene because the pinene smell is so much stronger and more pungent than the terpenol that it often goes overlooked. Borneol is known to have a menthol aroma, and it's found in wormwood and some species of cinnamon. And it's got a calming sedative effect and has been known to be used in Chinese medicine. Linalool has some floral scents and is refined from lavender or lily of the valley. Its effects are that of a heavy sedative, and it's currently being tested for its effectiveness as a cancer treatment. Next up is cineol. It's a main ingredient in eucalyptus oil, so it's going to have kind of a minty eucalyptus-like odor. Used topically, it can increase circulation or help relieve pain. And its effects mentally, it's stimulating or thought-provoking. Lastly, we have Puligan. It also has a mint odor. It's used in candy making. It's bad for the liver in high doses, but is only found in tiny quantities in marijuana. It's also been known to battle the protein that damages the brain's ability to store memory.
So now that you know a thing or two about terpenes, you can go out there and know a thing or two about terpenes. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and heck, you watched all the way to the end, go ahead and click that subscribe button. You know you want to. Do it. Do it. That's all for this episode. Let's grow.